Hey guys, welcome to the channel and my LDV T60Max 10,000 kilometer owner review. We're going to start off with alrighty, let's take a look at the exterior of this thing, and the front end is by far the best angle of it. Massive grille dominates it, looks really good. I've got a lot of comments on this. My favourite one is this the new Hilux? No, it's not. Maybe one little gripe about the front end is the low slung headlights. That's going to make it a little bit difficult to get a bull bar that looks pretty good, but you know what, there's going to be some coming onto the side, and lo and behold, she looks like a dual cab Ute. There's nothing too special going on. It's got flared arches on the side which make it look pretty tough, but overall it's a standard dual cab Ute. Whilst we're on the side, let's talk about the tyres. These tyres are Gitty 245/65 R17s because the wheels are 17 inches. On the new ones it's 19 inches, so maybe not so much rubber to play with on the 2023 model, but on my model you got plenty of room to let those tyres down and do some stuff off-road. Get all terrains if you can, but these will do the job. Onto the back end, and it's probably my least favourite angle. There's a lot going on, it's just very busy. Got the Saic motor, the LDV T60, the T60Max plastic plate across the back. There's a lot going on, but you know what? It does make it look unique. And those tail lights have some super cool LEDs. You can kind of see them in the daytime, but then at night time, bang, they look like the old X-Class. Of course, if you're buying a dual cab Ute, you're going to be buying it because of the tub, and this is a deep tub. It's massive, and it comes with spray-on liner as standard, so that's really been a good thing for me. I've had a bunch of stuff in there, still looks like new. Okay, let's jump inside the car now, and it's really nice in here. I thought it was going to be way more plastic and hard and nasty, but it's not. You've got electric front seats, they're heated as well. Really nice center console. You've got padded sides, they're fantastic when you're off-road because you're bashing against padded areas. 360-degree camera, great for seeing your garage door when it's closed. Plenty of storage. You've also got a bunch of spots to hold water, and you can actually hold a serious amount of water in this car, which is nice if you're going off-roading with it. If you are going off-road, the torque on demand system there, the auto, this dial just flicks through 4 high, 4 low, 2 high, or just leave it in auto. I actually did do a little trip with a mate out at night, and we just had it in auto the entire time, and we didn't get stuck. It was nice and easy, although I probably would have benefited from a few more lights. Back inside now, and the aircon in this thing is fantastic. A lot of cars nowadays with the big screens are going lots of aircon controls on the actual screen. It's still tactile, so it's still touch, but they're just across the bottom, which makes it so easy to use for an aging gentleman such as myself. You've also got your heated seat controls there. Interestingly enough, driver's on the left, passenger on the right. You've got Apple CarPlay, which is fantastic, really big, fairly responsive. There's not too much to it really. You can get Spotify, and you can make phone calls and things like that. Android Auto you can get an adapter for if you need to. So what's the T60Max like driving on the road? For this one I'm not going to have any music, so you can actually hear what it's like to be in the car. It's as if you're in the car with me and we're having a chat. How lovely. One thing I'll point out that I perceive as being quite the luxury is the indicator. You bump the indicator and 3 little indications, left or right, depending obviously on which way you push the stick. It flicks 3 times and then goes off. My wife's car has had it, and her previous car. None of my cars have. I love that feature, really cool. The other thing that I probably love most about this car is the power. The official figures are 160 kilowatts and 500 newton meters of torque, and the latter make it an absolute beast towing, coupled to the 8-speed ZF auto transmission, and this thing's pretty beasty when towing. I'm not doing a towing review at the moment, but it is a lot of good fun, and it feels pretty good. So it moves well on the road, given that it's 2,100 odd kilos. It feels really good on the road in terms of power. One detractor on the power is the initial takeoff lag, and that's pretty hefty. You'll see it here at the roundabout, and I'll stop talking briefly. So you can see, you would have heard my foot hit the accelerator, and it just takes a little bit to get going. It's not the end of the world, but it is fairly noticeable. So throttle controller solves that somewhat. I'm not driving this with a throttle controller at the moment, or in power mode. It's just in normal, and that's what you experience, the lag there. I want to talk about this thing's roundabout manner. So it has all the opportunities to be a boat, but it actually holds itself really nice and flat through roundabouts, and as you can see through the footage here, there's quite a few roundabouts where I live. The T60 stays fairly flat and level. The suspension's well sorted in the Luxe model. It's a little softer than the Pro. I think the Pro has slightly more capacity in the tub. I might be wrong here, but the Luxe is 750 kilos in the tub, so it's fairly light on in terms of payload. Whilst we're driving around, probably a good time to address a couple of the issues that I've had with the car. I've had two issues. One of them was the actuator flap. The actuator flap would squeak every time the flap moved, and that was quite pronounced, so you could hear it from inside the car as you were driving around with the windows up. A little bit of lubrication, and at the end was the dealer took it apart and lubricated again, and off we went. It was all good and fine. Great dealership, happy with them. They made it sort of no nonsense, which was great, but that no longer makes the noise. The other issue I've had whilst driving in the T60Max is the sway bar. So the front sway bar, I believe on the left hand side, a nut worked itself loose, and it was as simple as tighten it up. However, I didn't know which nut it was. Again, took it to the dealer, they sorted it out, and it doesn't make the knocking anymore. But those are the two issues I had. I had a squeaky actuator flap, and one nut on the sway bar came a little loose, so there was a bit of knocking going on from the front end. Both of those are now resolved, and that's literally all the problems I've had with it. So I do understand there's a few others out there who've had way more issues in their cars, but we've also got cars catching on fire these days. No T60s have done that, and certainly in the 10,000 kilometres that I've had mine, those are the only two issues that I've had. So as far as I'm concerned, she's a good car. Pros and cons. Power. Love the power in the T60. Really think that for its weight and size, it moves pretty well. Little bit laggy off the line, but I'll get to that in the cons. I like the plastic bit on the driver's door. That's really nice touch, because when you're closing, if you've got some grease or something on your fingers, it's only going on the plastic, it's not going on the paintwork, you can't really see it. The padded center console, that's really nice when you're off-road and you're sort of banging around on the tracks. You've got your knee slamming up against it. It's not hard plastic, it's not soft plastic, it's padded. So I really like that, great touch. The deep tub, that tub is huge. You can put so much stuff in there. And the best bit about it, the spray-on liner, that's stock standard. There's nothing special going on there. It comes like that. So that spray liner, I've had a load of dirt, I've carried furniture in it, I've picked up trolleys, and it's nothing. There's no scratches. You wouldn't be able to tell. It looks as if I haven't used it. Brilliant stuff. And I love the gearbox. The ZF gearbox in this thing is great. Now, when it's unladen, it's a little bit dopey, but when you get going, or if you're towing, that thing is brilliant. And off-road, it seems to be quite intuitive. So when you're driving around, I've done a lot of off-roading and just left it in auto. I haven't used the manual flappy paddles, which brings me to the paddles. Those things are great, because when the gearbox doesn't sense it and you do need a little bit of extra power, you can just flick one of those paddles and up the hill you go, or whatever the obstacle is. Really good. All right, cons. Lag. There's a fair bit of lag off the line. Even with the throttle controller, which does do a little bit to get rid of that, there's still a little bit of lag, so you will need to get used to that. Don't go driving it like a race car, it's not a race car. The paint on the rear doors. On the front doors, you've got plastic, so you know you don't get your little fingers on it, but then on the back doors, it's paint, and kids are in the back. and there's fingerprints all over my car. Another con that sort of gets in the way a little bit is the approach and departure angles. Nothing a couple of bars wouldn't fix. However, they are a little bit average. Hasn't stopped me, again, check out the channel. I've done some stuff, but I have done a little bit of a crack in my back of the car. All right, verdict time. If you're looking for a no-nonsense ute with lots of power, then stop looking and start buying the T60's your ute. If you want a family daily driver in this bracket, I reckon you should consider the T60, but you could look at the others as well. If you wanted a little bit more tech, that might be a little bit more useful if you have a family. If you're looking for a rig to modify and get off-road and you're considering the T60, then don't bother with any other variant other than the Luxe, because it comes with an auto locker as standard, so you can get off-road and get to some pretty crazy places without having to do much modification at all, as per channel. If you want to know what it's like driving off-road, hit the subscribe button and check out some of my other videos on the channel. Pretty much all of them are off-road. If you wanted to see a review on the T60 towing, that one's coming in the future. Keep an eye on the channel and you'll see when that drops. So would I buy this ute again? I absolutely would. By comparison to the others in the market, yes, I would get it again. Would I get my model? No, I wouldn't. I'd still get the Luxe, but I'd get the 2023 variant. It has a little bit more fruit on it, looks a little bit more sexy. It doesn't have anything extra in the way of mechanicals. It's the same stuff, it just looks sexy. So, get it. Yeah. Hopefully you've got some information out of this review and it's helped you make a decision either way, or it's just increased your understanding of what the LDV T60 Max is like. Thanks for watching.